who bought him and made him the Prime Minister of Nepal, and social media. The people were so happy with Balen Shah. Coming to how India is being impacted with Balen Shah. It's problems in Nepal once again. Problems in Nepal seem to be synonymous to each other. Right now, there is a news coming in from Nepal that the Gen Z protesters who bought him and made him the Prime Minister of Nepal want him to resign as the Prime Minister of Nepal. Surprising as it is, because Balen Shah has been the Prime Minister of Nepal for hardly less than 6 months, and already the people are fed up with his administration and they want him to be stepping down from the Prime Minister's office. So what could be the reason as to why the Gen Z of Nepal want such a dramatic and radical political change? Let us try and understand the background, recent background of Nepal. This is KP Sharma Oli, the former Prime Minister of Nepal. In the year 2025, a massive Gen Z protest started emerging in Nepal. And the trigger for this particular protest was KP Sharma Oli's government's decision to ban social media. Merely the banning of social media created a stir, and that ended up becoming one of the largest protests that Nepal had ever witnessed in its history. So the protesters went on to burn public buildings, government symbols, etc. And finally, under pressure, KP Sharma Oli, the former Prime Minister, had to quit his office and run away. So the political vacuum was filled by the new and young Prime Minister of Nepal in the form of Balen Shah or Balen Shah. Who is this Balen Shah, and what propelled him to power in Nepal? Understand, Balen Shah was a popular singer-rapper in Nepal. He used to compose raps and songs criticizing the political system of Nepal. Somewhere these songs echoed and they got a connection with the young population of Nepal. In 2022, he ended up contesting as an independent candidate for the elections to become the mayor of Kathmandu. And surprisingly enough, he succeeded and ended up becoming the mayor of Kathmandu. Since then, he has been a young face of the people's aspiration in Nepal. Last year, when the Gen Z protest erupted, he ended up becoming the face of the Gen Z protest altogether. And this year, he took oath as the new Prime Minister of Nepal, Balen Shah. Alright, so from merely a singer, rapper to becoming the Prime Minister of Nepal, this is a massive political journey for any individual. If the people were so happy with Balen Shah, if the people were so content with Balen Shah, then what could be the reason for him to become a villain in Nepal right now? There have been certain episodes in Nepal recently, such as mass eviction drives. The government of Balen Shah has gone ahead and started removing the informal settlements from certain areas of Kathmandu. So people in Nepal, especially the poor ones, who have been residing in these settlements, they have been very unhappy with him. Secondly, there have been certain self-immolation attempts by people in Nepal criticizing the government's atrocities or hard-handed methods. A recent example involves a person called as Ganesh Nepali, who went ahead and self-immolated himself over a parking dispute in Kathmandu with the police. So his self-immolation attempt ended up becoming a kind of a political stir, and it became a symbol for people to start hating Balen Shah overall. If people were so angry upon Balen Shah, then what is the reason that these people went ahead and bought him or put him into power as the Prime Minister of Nepal? One, the digital mobilization. Nepal has been a great example of digital mobilization in recent years. The young Nepalese have taken to social media platforms and they have come together to express their political sentiments, and it has only grown since then. All right. Secondly, the Nepalese youth have been frustrated politically over matters of corruption, over matters of nepotism, over matters of how horrible the political system of Nepal has been in recent years. Third was the lack of economic opportunities. The people of Nepal have been migrating to other countries such as India or to the Gulf nations to seek basic work. All right. So there are no lack of avenues, economic avenues in Nepal has been distressing to the majority of the youth of Nepal. So to give solution, to give an outcome to all these, they ended up expressing their vent or anger through the protests. What can the world learn through Nepal in recent years? One is your digital activism. The political system has shifted from its conventional ground-based mobilization to the new internet-based digital activism. Social media platforms such as Instagram or Facebook have turned into political playgrounds for the people in recent years. All right. There is also high expectations from people from their governments. People do not no longer, or people basically do not look at political loyalty anymore. For people, what is more important is accountability of the political parties. Yes, they expect results, quick results as to what these political parties and governments are doing. All right. Coming to how India is being impacted with Balen Shah and his government. Nepal is a very important neighbor for India. And if you look geographically, Nepal sits as a wedge between India and China. All right. In recent years, Balen Shah, after becoming the Prime Minister, has stirred political controversy by claiming for a greater Nepal. Balen Shah claims that territories which are currently in India actually belong to Nepal. Yes, so the current Nepal is this, and the territories that have been showcased here, all of them put together is being referred to as Greater Nepal. India has vehemently opposed these claims and they have called them as baseless claims per se. Also, another important claim that Nepal has put forward is the claim revolving certain regions that India are present in India. The recent episode of Indian government allowing the Mansarovar Yatra in Uttarakhand to pass through certain territories, yes, has created a strong protest in Nepal, because Nepal says the territories of Limpiadura and Kalapani and Lipu Lake basically is its territory according to the 1816 Sugauli agreement that the Nepalese monarch had concluded with the British East India Company. So the claims go back 200 years ago. So based upon that, they are claiming this territory, and the government of India has vehemently rejected them, saying that these are baseless and the territories are India's alone. All right. Now, when this claims went ahead, the government of Balen Shah said that they would involve China as well as United Kingdom as mediators to come and solve this problem. But once the government of India started putting pressure, then he backtracked and said that he had never invited China as well as UK to mediate in this episode. All right, this is a backtrack from Balen Shah. All right. So this is where he says, I have not invited any mediation from these two governments. All right. And also there was a political statement or a political gesture coming from Balen Shah, wherein he refused to meet India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri. India in the recent months had sent Vikram Misri to have a political and a formal meeting with the new Prime Minister of Nepal. India as a country has been trying to establish good formal relations with Nepal, but the political turmoil in Nepal with prime ministers changing again and again has made it difficult for India to have any good communication as well as relationship with Nepal. All right. So Balen Shah, when Misri wanted to meet him, declined and rejected to meet the foreign secretary, stating that his stature as the Prime Minister of Nepal would not allow him to meet a junior bureaucrat, and he wants to meet a significant minister or the Prime Minister of India directly. So this was a political statement coming from Balen Shah. However, very soon, when India made it very clear that none of his political wishes would be taken seriously in India, so then he says that he is willing to meet important officials or bureaucrats or even ministers in India. So soon modalities are being worked out so that he and either the Prime Minister of India or some other ministers from the Union government would have a formal meeting together. All right. Why is Nepal so important for India, and why is India treating Nepal with such patience? Remember, Nepal currently sits between India and China has been doing everything possible to bring Nepal under its economic influence. Losing Nepal to China would be one of the greatest disasters that India could ever have. So India doesn't want to lose Nepal at any cost. That is why all the patience, that is why all the positive approach towards Nepal. Please remember this. All right. So Nepal becomes geopolitically very important for India as a neighboring country, with India approaching or promoting its neighborhood first policy. All right. Do let me know what do you think about the future of Indo-Nepal relations and how these controversies will play out in the future. All right. Thank you for watching this video.